Let's read Caribbean again. Let me turn the fan off. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, let's continue, shall we? Um I'm just gonna page 11 to 20, cause why not? Here we go. The colorful stone where the child sleeps. Take your wife and go. Well, Amos set out straight away. He walked and on until at last he reached the lake. He found the colorful stone that his wife had dropped between the lake and the house, and he knocked it against a rock until a piece broke away. Then, carrying a piece of the colorful stone with him, as he had been told to do, he followed where the stone led him, singing. No. Eventually, he could see a small house in the distance. Sylvan, alone in the house, could hear the singing, and she recognized Amos's voice. Immediately, she ran to meet him. They were so pleased to see each other. Quickly, she said, let's get away from this place before Kirihu returns and finds you here. But Amos, remembering what the wise old woman had told him, carried on walking towards the house. First, we have to break the spell that Kirihu has cast over you. He insisted. He asked his wife to blow a kiss in the living room, blow a kiss in the bedroom, blow kisses all around the house, and blow a kiss outside the kitchen, just as the wise old woman had told him. The Amos put the piece of the colorful stone beside the sleeping child and took his wife and went away. Shortly afterwards, Kirihu returns, carrying a string of fish as usual. He went straight to the kitchen and called Sylvan. Yes, Kirihu. Sylvan's voice replied from the living room inside the house. But when Kirihu followed the voice to where it was coming from, Sylvan was not there. Kirihu called Sylvan again. Yes, Kirihu. Sylvan's voice called back. This time Sylvan's voice was coming from the bedroom. Kirihu followed the sound of her voice to the room, but when he got there Sylvan was not there. Kirihu called and went from one room to the next, but Sylvan was not to be found anywhere. Finally he called again. Sylvan, wife, where are you? And from outside the kitchen Sylvan's voice answered. Here I am, Kirihu, come. So he went out to the kitchen to find her, but Sylvan was not there. Kirihu finally realized that he had been tricked. He was furious and he stamped his feet and made so much noise he woke up the baby. Aha, Kirihu said. At least I still have my son. Kirihu followed the sound of the baby's voice to the child's bed. But as he drew near the child, Kirihu could see once again he had been tricked. Glowing on the child's pillow was the piece of the colorful stone, and there where the baby should have been was a colorful bird. What a life, what a life! Kirihu sobbed, and the bird flew up to him, making a prettiest chirping sound Kirihu had ever heard. I am Kingfisher, sang the bird. Let me stay with you. And from that day on, Kirihu had the company he had longed for, and he never went fishing alone again. There was once a king who had a daughter named Verona, Princess. Verona was a beautiful. She would spend her days in front of a mirror admiring her beauty. Verona was a spoiled princess who always got everything she wanted, and everything she wanted had to be the best. If it wasn't the best, then she would moan and groan. That was how it had always been. Her father, the king, would try and get the best of anything she asked for, but she was never satisfied. You too choosy, her father, the king, would say. One day you'll choose and you'll lose. But Verona didn't care what her father said. She just pleased herself and continued being choosy. When it was time for Verona to find a husband, she decided that she would only accept the perfect husband and nothing less. Tired of his daughter's constant moaning, the king took it upon himself to find the perfect husband for his daughter. I am looking for a husband for my daughter, Verona, the king told his people, and only the perfect suitor will do. News travelled far and wide. Soon everyone knew that the king was looking for the perfect husband for his daughter, and before long a line of well-to-do suitors presented themselves to the king and the princess, but the princess was not interested in any of them. The first was too tall, the second too short, another too fat, another too thin. The princess wanted a man who was just the perfect size and with the perfect face. And when she found one who was the perfect size with a perfect face, he was too boring, or he talked too much, or he spoke too little, or he didn't give her enough attention. Whatever excuse Verona could find, she did. The bottom line was that none of the suitors were perfect enough to be her husband, and the king didn't know what to do. There must be somebody out there that's perfect for you. He said that Verona was smiled. If I don't find the perfect man, then I will just have to live with you forever. She had happily, this worried king was worried the king a lot. He could think of nothing. Worse than spending the rest of his days trying to please his daughter, and he hoped beyond hope that one day someone perfect would come along and take her off his hands. Living in a village was a humble fisherman named Sam. Every morning Sam would deliver a load of fish to the palace, and every morning from her balcony, Verona would watch this fine figure of a man carry the boxes of fish across the courtyard to the place kitchens, and she would admire his perfect dark brown skin and his perfect smile with perfect white teeth, and she would listen to his perfect laugh, and she would say, "Good morning, Sam," when he answered, "Good morning, Princess Verona." In his perfect deep voice, her heart would race, but before she could catch her breath and speak further, he would be on his way. Although she liked the look of him, she knew that Sam was perfect to be the perfect husband for a princess. Nevertheless, Princess Verona was curious about the fisherman, and she wanted to know more about him. He looked like such a nice fellow. One morning Princess Verona was determined to speak to Sam, so Instead of watching him from her balcony, she waited for Sam in the courtyard. I don't know. As he came to deliver the fish as usual, she jumped and out, out and started for him. "Good morning, Sam," she said. Sam almost dropped his fish. "Oh, good morning, Princess Verona," he said politely. "I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting to see you there." "I know," said Princess Verona. "I came down here especially as you are always in so much of a hurry and I never get to speak to you." Sam was taken aback by her interest in him. "Oh, I'm sorry," he said. "I have so much fish to deliver in the mornings. Please accept my apologies." Princess Verona blushed. No one had ever made her blush before, but there was something about this fisherman that made her giddy. That morning Princess Verona and Sam the fisherman spoke and laughed about all sorts of things. And the more Princess Verona spoke to him, the more she liked him. The more he spoke to her, the more he liked her too. From that day on, every morning Princess Verona waited in the courtyard from Sam to arrive with the fish, and every morning they chatted about this and that and enjoyed each other's company. The king was very glad to see his daughter having so much fun with the young fisherman, and one day he called his daughter aside and said, "Verona, could this be him? Is Sam the fisherman the perfect man for you? Would be would he be the perfect husband?" Verona and as well and finally she said, "No, how can I marry a poor fisherman? I'm a princess. He's not perfect enough for me." "You too choosy and choosy," said the king. "One day you choose and you lose." The king was angry. He wondered if he would ever get rid of his fussy daughter. Then one day, quite out of the blue, a handsome gentleman riding a strong black stallion arrived at the palace gates. The gentleman looked amazing, dressed in a crisp white suit and a fine cane hat. His height looked perfect, his face looked perfect, he was rich and charming too. "Good day," he said. "My name is Camo." The princess immediately took a liking to him. He said all the right things and seemed to know exactly how to act to show the princess that he would make a perfect husband for her. He spoke for, he spoke for his wealth and his magnificent castle, and he told her how he lavished her with the most expensive jewelry. Princess Verona fell in love with him immediately. He came to visit every day, and when he asked for king for Verona's hand in marriage, the king turned to his daughter and said, "Verona, could this be him? Is this fine gentleman, Camo, the perfect man for you? Would he be a perfect husband?" Verona and added, "Well, funny," she said. "Yes, this is the perfect man for me." The king was overjoyed. He began to make plans for the wedding straight away, and he asked for gentlemen suitor to come back from the following week to marry his daughter. When Sam the fisherman heard about the engagement of Princess Verona to find no gentleman called Camo, he was very sad. He had known all along that he, being a poor fisherman, he didn't stand a chance for marrying Princess Verona, but deep down in his heart, he had hoped that by some miracle his dream would come true. But alas, it wasn't to be. Sam was so distraught that he stayed in bed for 3 whole days, and he was unable to get up and work. Sam was still in bed when one of the servants to the king arrived in his small fisherman's hut. asking for a special order to fish for the wedding banquet. Sam was about to turn the servant away when he had a thought. Maybe if he showed up at the palace with the order of fish and Princess Verona was to see him again, she would come to her senses and call the wedding off. So he agreed to deliver the fish on the morning of the wedding, in the hope that seeing him might change Verona's mind. The wedding morning arrived, and Sam entered the palace through the courtyard. Up on the balcony, Princess Verona saw him arrive. Her heart skipped a beat, but she pretended that it did nothing to not bother her to see him. She was going to be married for a perfect man that afternoon after all. Wait, what? Oh, okay, this is the last page. Good morning, said Sam. Princess Verona did not answer. She could not. Seeing Sam had confused her, she was waved and went inside. Deep down in her heart, she was afraid she might be still in love with him. But how could she be when she was about to marry the perfect man? Sam carried the boxes of fish to the palace kitchen where was so much fish. He had to cross the courtyard several times. Each time he crossed the courtyard, Sam looked up on the balcony to see if Princess Verona was there, but she was nowhere to be seen. After the last box had been delivered, Sam left, convinced now that any dream of marrying Princess Verona was well and truly dashed. As he walked away, Verona peeped from behind a pillar from the balcony and watched him go. But it was too late. Como, her husband-to-be, would be arriving very soon to marry her. Sam could see a glittering horse, drawn carriage coming towards the palace. Inside it was the man Sam thought must be Verona's fiance. Yeah. Sam decided to wait around to have a good look at the man. Verona intended to marry the man, got out of the carriage, and Sam bid him good day, wishing him well on his wedding day. None of the wiser. Camo thanked him and entered the palace. Sam took a disliking to him straight away. Perhaps this was natural, since the man was about to marry the only girl he had ever truly loved. But looking into Camo's piercing green eyes and had sent a shiver down Sam's spine. To be continued. To be continued, anybody? I'll be continuing 20, no. I'll be continuing 21 to 30 page. Alright, I'll see you next video. Bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.